Alright, today we're going to make a little 2¼ inch planes pipe, and this is a pipe blank. It's drilled and pretty squared up. This is, when you buy a pipe blank from the website, that you're going to get something something like this, depending on what size you get. So I'm just going to start by getting the corner of this file right in there against the bowl, kind of at a 45-degree angle. And after I do that, I will round off this, not round it off, but put an angle on it. I'll show you in a second. Put an angle on it like that. And I'm just going to go all the way around this bowl and do that same thing. Once I get those 4 done, I'm going to do the parts around the bowl where the tobacco goes here. I'm just going to put that same angle on there that I have on the other 4 sides. Got the bowl where the tobacco goes with them same angles. Now I'm going to do the bottom 2 parts of the pipe there and put that same angle on there. You'll notice when I'm working on the pipe, I a lot of times will stop and look at it. I just want to make sure everything looks pretty symmetrical, and that completes that part of it. And now I'm gonna start take my file and start rounding this all off. Going to work right around the back side of that pipe first. On these smaller pipes, I use the smoother part of the rasp more often than the rough part, simply because you really don't need to use the rough part. You want the pipe to sand, you want the pipe as smooth as you can get it before you start sanding. So now I have the back of that pipe the way I want it. There's different ways you can do this, and depending on what you want, you can make that round. I mean, you can leave it square, put a square shank on there. I like to make mine, I kind of try to make it look like the shape of a horseshoe. So I'm going to go to the front of the pipe, do the same thing. I look at it, I can be a little bit anal sometimes about, I like stuff symmetrical. I like the pipe where it's drilled to be dead center if at all possible, so that's why I keep, looking at the pipe as I'm working. Make sure the holes are centered, make sure it looks symmetrical, and you just will have a nicer product when you're finished. And the same goes for the hole where the tobacco goes. I like that to be right in the center of the bowl. I'm just working my way around the bowl, the part of the bowl where the tobacco goes, and rounding that all off. This side looks a little like there's a little more room on the bowl, so I'm just gonna take a little tiny bit off and try to make sure that hole is right in the center. That looks pretty good. I'm just going to smooth off the back and the top and the front now with this file. Again, I'll look at it. I like that to be a nice straight 90-degree angle from the bottom of the pipe right here. I like that 90 degrees, just like I like this 90 degrees. And there we have the basic shape of the pipe already. It's next thing I'm going to do is take a small half-round bastard file, and I'm just going to smooth this out as much as I can get it with this file. It'll get it smoother than what it already is. This is a much finer file. And that the smoother you get it, the easier and quicker it will be to sand the pipe once we get to that stage. I work around the pipe just like I did with the big Farrier's rasp. Go over the whole pipe with this smoothing file. I got the bottom of the pipe pretty much smoothed out. I'm going to go up to the top part where the tobacco goes. Go around that entirety of that part of the pipe, get that all smoothed out. This is where if you see a little deep nick from the big file, this is where you want to get that out, so you don't have to try to sand it out with sandpaper. There, I've gotten all the way around the bowl part of the pipe. I'm going to do the back of the pipe where the stem goes in. Get that nice and smooth. Top of the pipe where the tobacco goes in. And the front of the pipe. Once you get to this point, if everything looks nice and smooth and the way you want it, symmetrical and shaped how you want it, we're going to move on to sanding this pipe. I'm going to start with, now I've got this pretty smooth, so I don't have to start with a real heavy grit. I'm going to start with a 150 grit sandpaper. The object of this is just to get the entire pipe sanded. I kind of have a method. I do the bottom, the back, the top, and the front, and then move on to the rest of the pipe. If you do a good job in the last step with that smoothing file, that makes this sanding process a whole lot easier. When you don't have to sand trying to get deep gouges out. And so I got the top, the bottom, the back, and the front sanded. I'm going to move on to this body portion of the pipe. This is the smallest size pipe blank that we sell on the website, thepipemaker.com. Sometimes they're a little bit harder to work on just because they're small. If you got big hands, 3 or 4 inch pipe blank is sometimes a little easier to work on. But this is a good size. If you've never tried this and you want to try it, it's a good size to start with. It's relatively inexpensive. I think you can get a pipe blank like this for 25-30 bucks on the website. You can add a stem to your order, a stem that's already done, or you have the option to buy an unfinished stem, sumac stem, if you want to try to make your own sumac stem. And we'll, at some point, we'll have a reel or a video of kind of how to do a stem as well. We are going to go live after we started the new page, Native American Pipes. Once we got 100 followers, we're going to go live, so that's the plan. We're going to go live, and we're going to make a 5-inch black pipe blank on Saturday. Let's see, that's a week from tomorrow. Actually, I'm not sure exactly what the date is off the top of my head, but it's a week from tomorrow. It's like January 18 or 19, I think it'll be. Whatever that Saturday falls on. We're going to start that at 11 o'clock Central Time in the morning, 11 o'clock a.m. And this is all kind of new to us. So after we got to 100 followers this morning, I checked into going live and just to try to figure out the technical aspects of that. And I found out we cannot go live on our page, Native American Pipes, because it's such a new page. So we have a backup plan. We're going to go live on our page, Lakota Creations. So if you don't already like the Lakota Creations page, but you do like the Native American Pipes page, make sure you like them both. Another thing I think we're going to do, I'm gonna move to 220 grit sandpaper now, and get this thing even smoother. So another thing I think we are going to do, when we go live, anybody who's watching the video, I'm thinking it'll probably be about an hour. Make sure it doesn't go over an hour. But anybody who's liking the video, I have a 4-inch black pipe, plains pipe, just like the 5-inch one we're going to be making. We're going to give that away. We're going to have a little drawing at the end of the hour and give that 4-inch pipe away. And if you live in the USA, it's not going to cost you a dime if you win. We'll pay the shipping. We'll take care of everything. You're just going to have to supply us with your address and shipping information. If you live outside this country, you can still win the pipe, but you have to pay the shipping. It's a little more expensive to ship to places like Australia and Europe and even Canada. But you'll still have an opportunity to win that pipe. The pipe I'm going to give away, I'll put a picture of it up on Native American Pipes later today. 4-inch black plains pipe, and it's not perfect. It has a little crack in the bowl here, but it is it's not perfect, so we can't sell it on the website. At least not. We don't like to sell stuff like that, even at a discount. We just soon, if we're going to sell something, we want to give you the best product we can. And we noticed this little crack after we were done waxing it, and that happens sometimes. But the pipe is functional. You would be able to use that pipe in ceremony without a problem. It's a very attractive pipe, so even if you do not use it in ceremony or give it to somebody who would use it in ceremony, it's still a very attractive pipe and something you may be interested in. Like I said, this going live, it's all kind of new to us, but we're learning. We're learning as fast as we can. And I think if you watch the video, I think you're going to have the opportunity to interact with us. You'll be able to ask questions, make comments, etc. And you also have the opportunity to buy a pipe blank on the website. Before that, there's still time to ship it. And you can make that pipe blank the exact same time we are. And if you have a question that comes up, that'd be a great time to ask it. And with that, I think this pipe is pretty much ready to take inside, and we'll go over it with some wet and dry sandpaper, like a 400 grit paper. We'll do that under the faucet, or make it wet to do that, get it smoother yet, and it'll take a better shine. And we're going to put beeswax on it, and we're going to get this pipe finished up. So we will be back. Thank you for watching to this point. Alright, Nancy's getting ready to do the finishing touches on this pipe with the wet and dry sandpaper. She's using 400 grit sandpaper to make the paper wet, make the pipe wet, and just sand it one more time with a finer grit. That's usually the grit that we use to finish a pipe up. You can use a higher grit and go finer yet. You can go as high a grit as you want. 400 is more than sufficient, and you'll see that when the pipe is done, it'll have a nice shine to it. And if you use an 800 or 1200 grit, if you go that fine, you'll just have even a finer finish, a shinier finish. She put a pot of water on the stove before we started filming, and she's got that heating up. As soon as she gets done wet and drying the pipe is going to go in the pot of water, and we're going to wait for the pipe to get hot, and then we'll melt the beeswax on there. The water that you see in the sink, we'll just leave that in there. After the pipe comes out of the hot water, we're going to put that in lukewarm water to cool the pipe off. You don't want to put the pipe in ice cold water after you get done waxing it, because it could crack the pipe. And you also don't want to put the pipe in super hot water. You want that to be a gradual process. Alright, Nancy has some leather tongs she uses to get that out of the hot water, so she makes sure we don't end up with a pipe that's scratched. She's going to take it out of the water. It will dry very fast because it's very hot. Once it's dry, she's going to take her beeswax rag. This is a rag that gets used all the time. It's infused with beeswax. And that beeswax will just melt. Now before you have a rag like this, if you make a lot of pipes, you'll have a rag like this before you know it. If you don't, you're going to have to take your beeswax cake and touch it to the pipe, and the beeswax will melt, and you then take your clean rag or new rag and do the same thing she's doing. You make sure every part of the pipe is covered. Once you have it all covered, she's going to place that in lukewarm water. Again, you don't want to put it in freezing cold water. Lukewarm water to cool the pipe off. Once that pipe is cooled off, we'll take it out of there, and we might put 4 winds on this pipe once it's done. We'll show you that process. Alright, Nancy's got the pipe out of the water. She's dried it off. She's buffed it with a nice soft cloth. Pipe has some beautiful little spots in. I don't know if you can see it. Very nice looking pipe. And I'm gonna put 4 rings on there to represent the 4 directions. And I do this. A lot of pipe makers do this before they wax it. I always do it after I wax it. You got to be more careful so you don't make a mistake. But we think it looks really attractive. So I'm going to put the 4 rings on there. I also put my rings at an angle. Some people think it looks like a swirl. It's not a swirl. It's each ring will meet up. So you're going to have 4 distinct rings on here, representing the 4 directions. I try to keep the width between each ring the same. Again, I'm very symmetrical. I like stuff symmetrical. So you you get a feel for this, how to do that. You can kind of just the way you space the file, the little rat tail file that I'm using. Then you can always adjust it a little bit if you want. You know, go to the ring, and the area between the rings is a little wider on one of them. You just push your file just slightly to that wider ring and make it so that it looks the same. I don't know how other pipe makers do this. I don't know if they do each ring individually or not. This is the way my mentor showed me how to do it. My mentor was Little Feather. His name was Jeff Derby. And Little Feather is his Indian name. But this is the way he did his. He always did his rings at an angle as well. And he told me, I remember him telling me that people always wondered how he did that. And he said it was easier to do it this way than to do a straight lines on the bowl. You don't have to worry so much about keeping it straight, because it's not straight. And I would agree with him. I found that to be true. So on the rings that I put on first, you can see that they're at a little bit of an angle. So now when I go to do this next row of rings around the front of the pipe, I kind of straighten it out. Now you got to be careful if you do this after you wax a pipe, because if that file were to slip, it would take the beeswax right off and you'd have to go wax your pipe again. So after I get the front done, I turn the pipe and I do the back part of the bowl here. And again, I kind of straighten things out on the front and the back of the bowl. When I get to the other side, you'll see I have to put an angle on it again so that the rings meet up with each other. Pipe making is like a lot of things in Native American culture. It's kind of a skill, tradition that's kind of passed down orally. If you don't have a chance to see somebody work or work with them, it's hard to learn some of the little tips and techniques that make it easier. It's one of the reasons we started our new page, Native American Pipes. I'm getting older all the time. And I would just soon be able to, I've known a lot of pipe makers who have passed away since I started making pipes, and they took some of their secrets with them, and which is kind of a shame. And I kind of want to make sure, if I can, that I don't let that happen. I'm happy to share what I know, and I'm happy that there's people who are interested enough to want to know. So even my son is a pipe maker as well. His Indian name is Loud Thunder. There's things he said that he wanted me to teach him, but we don't live right in the same area anymore. He likes the Eagle Claw pipes that I make, and he wants to learn how to do them. And of course, I've offered him come down and we'll spend a day or two and teach you everything I can. But he's busy with kids, busy with work, and so he hasn't had that opportunity. But hopefully, with a page like this, and if there gets to be some videos out there, if something were to happen to me, he can still learn some of them techniques that I use. He was a paramedic out on the Rosebud Reservation for many, many years, and just recently took a job in Pipestone, Minnesota, which is right by where he lives, and so he doesn't have to travel as much. But he still goes out and helps them in Rosebud. Oh, I would say every other week, probably, for sure. Goes out and does a shift. So he's very busy. He's got 3 little girls. And between his mother and me and Nancy and one of my other daughters, Heather, we do a lot of baby watching, and Heather and JD's mother are good about getting the kids to school. And now, I kind of didn't even tell you when I was doing it, but the back side of that pipe, I kind of put that angle on there again to get them rings to meet up. Now I'm going to the top of the pipe. I'm just putting some little designs on there, kind of a, I guess you would call it like a crown. It's another little thing. Little Feather used to do that, and so I started doing it. You can be a little bit creative when you're working on a pipe. I normally put 8 little designs up there. Again, I'm kind of symmetrically minded. But I have done, people have asked me to do 7 on their pipes just for the significance of the number 7 to go along with the significance of the 4 winds. On the front of the pipe, I'm going to put 2 little designs on each side. It just symbolizes that number 4 again. And you got to be careful. You got to push down kind of hard with this little file to make sure it don't slip. It's not the end of the world if it slips, but like I said, you be re-waxing your pipe. Because if it does slip, you're going to take beeswax off. Alright, I'm going to shine this up a little bit on my t-shirt. Should shine up pretty good after after Nancy's had it buffed good. I've got a little cherry stem that Nancy decorated with beadwork and some little leather fringes. I'm going to put that on this pipe. And there you have the finished product. Very nice little pipe, great little starter pipe if you want to get into this and get yourself a pipe blank. You don't need all the files I've got. Any file that you can buy in a hardware store will work, but this Farrier's rasp is the main file. I use them on small pipes, I use them on big pipes, I use them on fancy pipes. It's got a nice rough side and it'll move some stone. So eventually, if you get into making pipes on a regular basis, you're going to want a file like that. Sometimes they're hard to find, depending on where you live. We do sell them on the website as well as a little starter kit with all the sandpaper, the piece of beeswax, and everything you might need to make your pipe, finish it up. Thank you guys for watching. If you don't already like or follow our Lakota Creations page and Native American Pipes page, get on it. Thank you.